Ciaran, early April, obviously a very busy time on farms. I suppose one of the positives of the COVID-19 pandemic is the fact there's a lot of extra help on farms. People home from college, people home from work that maybe were otherwise not on the farms. But I suppose it also brings a risk in terms of there's more people around the farm, young people in particular. And I suppose, they need to be looked after when on farms, when on working farms.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of challenge out there at the moment, Jack. It's a busy time. It is exacerbated by the fact that there's a lot more people at home on the farm. There's young people at home that would normally be in school, and I think extra care is needed. Sadly, earlier this week there was a child fatality, and I suppose that's the thing none of us want to see. And so my sympathy goes to the family and the community who've been affected by that particular incident. But I think it's an important time that we actually focus on safety. There's a lot on people's mind. There's a lot of pressure from outside the farm as well. But to keep focus on farm safety, it's a very, very busy time. We're moving into a big time with machinery. So to make sure you plan your work properly and machines are maintained in good condition is a really important thing.
I mean, you touched off machinery. I mean, livestock is another big one at this time of the year in terms of stock going out to fields. There's farmers loading stock to take them to out farms. There's fencing to be done maybe on some of these out farms. Is there anything that farmers need to look out for in this space?
Yeah, well, I think in general with livestock, we've seen the number of injuries with livestock rise and rise over the last number of years. The National Farm Survey says 42% of all accidents on farms relate to livestock, and fatalities have risen to about 19% of all fatalities on farms. So animals are getting bigger, they're getting wilder, especially when we look at some of the beef animals. So good handling facilities are really, really important. And to take care, when you're in a field with stock. If you're in a field with a bull, make sure you have a safe place of refuge. If there's any calving left to be done, use safe handling facilities, and a good calving gate, is imperative in relation to calving.
Yeah, I mean, some timely tips there. I mean, on the machinery front, as you mentioned, a lot of cereal farmers getting the last of the spring crops in. There's rolling to be done. There's fertilizer to be spread. I suppose there's heavy lifting of fertilizer, and usually with loaders nowadays. But again, what do farmers need to keep an eye on in terms of the machinery front?
Yeah, well, I suppose if I just look at machinery, tractors and machinery represent about 50% of all fatal accidents on Irish farms, and a lot of serious accidents as well. So there's a lot of people who've lost arms and legs and been left with life-changing injuries because of an accident involving either a tractor or a machine. And I break them into sort of four categories. So there's the operator. So it's important that the operator's experienced, that they're not rushing, that they're aware that they don't get too fatigued and to keep their concentration. The likes of a mobile phone, while it's very useful, and I think it's important that a farmer, especially when they're working alone, have one, not to use it carefully and that it doesn't become a distraction. Looking at the environmental conditions, of the slopes, the grounds that they happen to be working at, that they're suitable for the load that they happen to be driving. The tractor itself, that it's maintained in good condition. We have seen a lot of incidents, related to poor brakes on tractors where they have failed or where they haven't been strong enough to hold the load behind it. So, for example, we've seen incidents where a tractor with a slurry spreader behind it hasn't actually been able to take the weight of that slurry spreader and the brakes haven't working properly. And because of that, there has been a fatality. And as well, the likes of PTO shafts and guards on the likes of slurry tankers to make sure that they're kept in place and maintained in good condition. And lastly, I suppose, is systems of work. The farmers need practical, safe ways to do their work. Even one-way systems around the yard, or when they're parking up in the evening, the reverse park. So in the morning, they're facing it in the right direction to go out and do their work.
Good. Some nice practical tips there. I suppose, one other piece, and just to leave you on this one, I mean, God forbid if someone got sick in a house or on a farm and there was either relief help in or maybe there was some of the neighbours in, in terms of their policy, do they need to check their policy to see that they're covered, that they're insured for the outside help, or is there special cover needed in that circumstance?
Yeah, well, I suppose in relation to an employee or someone working on the farm, it comes under the employer's liability insurance. So it's important that they have that cover in place. If there's going to be an awful lot of extra work done, it's a matter of making a call in to the local office and making them aware, listen, there'll be extra amount of cover used, and there might be some sort of modification that's needed. But employer's liability is the cover that someone needs if there's someone working on your farm. And I suppose maybe to go back to where we started this program in relation to children and child safety, most child fatalities relate to tractors and machinery. And I think it's really important that every farmer has a safe play area and the tractor isn't used as a babysitting aid, especially with the pressures that are on at the moment, and good supervision. And I think there is an opportunity as well, I suppose, to teach our children about farms and the risks on farms. And maybe now is the opportunity to do that.
Good stuff. Ciaran, thanks a million for your time, for taking time out in terms of answering a couple of our questions, and we'll be in touch again soon.
Thanks very much, Jack.